In this video, I'm going to be talking about how I've grown my tuition business in terms of bookings for September, and I've already booked out 70% or more of my tuition slots. So thank you to the members of my Skool.com community who have requested this video, and I will be going through some things that I've done over the past couple of months and things to avoid perhaps. This is just my experience, and I'm just going to talk candidly about what I've done over the last couple of months to get myself pretty much booked out for September. So the first thing that I want to just clarify at the beginning is that most of my tuition at the moment is existing clients. Now, what I mean by that is I used to go after year 11 students. So in the UK, that's our GCSE end of age 16 exam class. But if you think about the lifetime value of that client and that family, they may be with you from September to May when their exams finish. Whereas if you go for maybe the slightly younger students, like year 10, year 9, I have some year 7 students as well, then the time that they're going to be with you, if you're providing a good service and you're giving them progress and value, is potentially 4 years or 4 times as long. So that's something that I've been not actively doing, but something that has happened kind of organically over time, and something that I think might be useful to you is to not necessarily go after exam age classes, maybe a year or more before that. And so it's a slightly different experience in terms of tuition and dealing with students that are slightly younger. But that, in terms of business, is something that you might want to think about, because you don't have that that drive in September for us when the new academic year starts to generate leads and to find clients. So most of mine are, like I say, are existing from last year. And what I did, and this is something that you can do if you already have clients, is to send out a Google Calendar link. This is free on Google Workspace if you use it, or just you can just do a manual process where you're trying to get them to pre-book, so that you know that when the new academic year starts, that you have as full a complement of students available to you as possible, and you know when your slots are booked and which ones are available, and then you can start to work on filling those slots as opposed to hopefully letting the students come to you. Now, the second thing that's worked really well for me is word of mouth and referrals. So I have colleagues at my old schools who recommend me for tuition all the time. Like, I get a lot of my recommendations from my old colleagues. So I would really advise you to get in touch with those ex-colleagues that you're still friends with or you're still in touch with, or that you don't mind just dropping them a message and saying, hi, like, I'm doing some tuition next year, and if anyone talks about tutoring, or you have any students in your class that you think would benefit from some extra help, give them my number, give them my email, and you'll be surprised at how many leads come through that channel. So that's really useful one for sure. The next thing is siblings. So like I say, the existing families, I messaged someone who had finished in year 11 this year and actually asked them for a review. And then they said, oh, I forgot. Yeah, I need tutoring for my younger daughter, and she's in year 8, so about 13 years old. And they actually wanted some tuition over the summer, which wouldn't have been there, and I wouldn't have had that necessarily come September. So talking to your existing clients, asking for reviews, that was a previous video. But asking for reviews and saying, like, do you have any other children that need support? You again, that's something that's worked quite well for me. So at the moment, I have about 4, maybe 5 of my clients who are actually younger siblings of previous students. If you don't have that many clients now, that's something you should try to build in as soon as possible. So if you're having your first couple of sessions and things are going well, then you can just message the parents and say, Do you need any support for any of your other children, if that's applicable? The kids might talk about their brothers and sisters, etc. And I've never taught primary, but I currently have a year 5 student, so they're about 9 years old. They're advanced, they're quite bright, and doing really well. So it's not a problem. It's not that big of a shift for me, but you might put yourself out of your comfort zone and be able to tutor some of the younger students. They stay with you for several years, then you're not having to worry about generating those extra leads. Other channels that I've used. So this might be quite a technical one, but with the use of AI now, it's so much easier to just spin up a web page, or if you're not too confident with deploying a website, then a Facebook group, Google business profile, Instagram, all of the normal social media channels. I found this difficult until very recently as well. Start posting content that is useful. It doesn't have to be polished, like my videos aren't polished, but just talking about something, giving away a resource. Again, AI can help you with this, but people are more savvy of the AI slop that's going around at the moment. But just use it to generate something, and then you can tinker with it and make it a lot better. Something that's going to provide value to the students that you teach, whatever that subject is. So for me, I did an exam guide, I did a calculator, a couple of videos for free, and it's called a lead magnet, and you post that out. You might have seen these kind of hand raiser posts on social media. If you're interested, drop a comment or DM me or something like that. And I've done that a couple of times on social media and got about 6 people interested in tuition, and we've had conversations, and some of them have led to actually becoming clients. So it's a bit more work, but it's longer term. It's something that you can just keep hashing out, keep posting, and providing value to turn them from a cold client into a bit of a warmer lead. Something that I would avoid at this stage is paid ads. I've spent quite a bit of money on paid ads, and it hasn't worked out well for me. It's quite technical, and that's coming from me. I'm coding and all of this sort of stuff. I would avoid the ads. Like, I have done boosted posts on social media, and that's something you could consider if you've got a decent video ad, or a decent post that you want to push out to a certain demographic in your area. But I would say that word of mouth and referrals from existing clients, if you have them, is way more powerful than a cold ad. People like social proof. They don't want to make a mistake. So if they have friends or family that have already worked with you, they will be much more likely to join up with you if they know you. But I have posted in Facebook groups, home ed groups, math tutor groups on Facebook, and you can find people through that. The market's pretty saturated at the moment with people trying to price themselves to the bottom. You're competing against a lot of Asian tutors who are willing to price themselves down a little bit, but you can get conversations going through those channels, and that can be something that's fruitful. What I would say is, what's worked really well for me, when you do get someone to contact you via WhatsApp or whatever it is, try to respond to them as soon as possible. Within a few hours preferably will be beneficial, because that's shown to be, this is not my research, but shown to be way more effective at getting people to convert if you can catch them when they're almost within 60 seconds. Getting a response and striking up that conversation has been really powerful for me. I think I've done a few video responses on WhatsApp, which you might find really cringy, and I certainly did at first. But just recording yourself, just giving them a little bit of information so they can put a face to you, and to see how you respond just on camera can be really, really powerful. And I've had a lot of positive feedback from that method of converting leads into clients, is to actually drop them a personalized video message. And I know that may sound horrific, and it did for me at first, but it does get easier with time. Try not to worry too much about it. Just get it sent. Try to do one, and once you see that it's actually not that bad, you will still cringe looking at it, and I still do when I look at myself on these videos, on my early YouTube videos and things like that. But it's a skill. It's something that will improve over time, and it will help you with your communication over online channels like Zoom and Teams and all of that sort of stuff. So I'm not going to speak too much more about this process, but these are the main ways that I've managed to get clients. It's definitely word of mouth, siblings and families, friends and families, and there's all sorts of things you can do. I haven't done this myself, but I have been recommended to do these sorts of things like referral bonus, because I had one parent that actually referred me to 4 people, and she didn't get anything from me for that. But perhaps that's something that I should have done, to sort of keep her sweet and keep her referring me to her friends and family. People have WhatsApp groups now for schools and class WhatsApp groups that you could sort of say, would you mind um, posting and helping me out like that? And if you do it in that way where you're asking your friends for a favor, and you're not saying to them like, can I tutor your child, or that kind of cringy sales technique. If you're saying to them, do you know of someone that's looking for tutoring, more often than not they'll be like, oh, actually, yeah, no, I am. But you're like, oh, okay, that's great, as opposed to, I know that they have a son or daughter that's at the age that you want to actually tutor, and so you're asking them to just refer you on, as someone that knows you, someone that sort of has worked with you, or an ex-colleague or anything like that. They can be really valuable sources of new leads. Okay, so just to sum up, what I've kind of discussed, like the main channels are friends and family, existing clients and their siblings, ex-colleagues as referrals and things like that, and then trying to generate some lead magnets, some free resources, free content that you can post, just to drum up a little bit of social media kind of influence, I guess. That's a horrible word for me, but it is something that you have to be aware of in business, and something that I'm getting better at. I've got 500 followers on Facebook, and about 300 or 400 on Instagram. I've got 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, 750,000 views. These sorts of things have grown over time, from literally nothing. So it's a process. It's something that I'm still improving on and still working on. But hopefully that little insight into how I've booked out most of my sessions, and coupled with all the other things that I'm doing in terms of the pricing and the value and all of those sorts of things, has really helped me grow this business to one where I don't actually need to be in the classroom anymore. So I hope that's helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, then do please let me know. You can go to my website and have a look at my tuition pages. Bowtie Teacher, just search up on Google. It's usually the first one there. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next one.